What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, Dudes Who Bet Daily, March 22nd, 2023. Let's kick this off. I want to go to you, Papa Dude, because your best bet on Sunday was the Gonzaga Bulldogs laying the 4. How are you feeling at the end of that game?
You want the truth?
I don't know if I can handle the truth.
Well, yeah, you can. I went to bed. I didn't even know it happened.
You're killing me, Papa Dude. All right, Aaron. As someone who
I saw it the next day. Now, if you want to know what I would have felt like if I actually was watching it, yeah, I would have thought, what in the hell? Now, first of all, did they review that?
No.
I don't know how you can get a shot off in 0.7 seconds when you've got to bend over, pick the ball up, and then shoot it.
Well, he definitely got it off, but I'm not sure the clock started.
That's what I mean, yeah.
That would be where that – and I don't remember the exact rules on the catch and shoot versus pick it up and how much time can be on the clock for catch and shoot versus pick it up. That game was just wild from a just overall perspective. Gonzaga down at half looked like they were the better team in the first half. Get up by 8 to 12 consistently during the second half. You see a little bit of a run back there by TCU. They're up 7 with the ball with 40 seconds left. They turn it over on the inbounds pass, so they can't hit the free throws and go up 9.
Yeah.
Then it seems like it's a loss. You get a foul with under 7.7 seconds left. They make both free throws, and then the 3 happens, Aaron.
Yeah.
Gambling is here, and it's here to stay. I want everybody to watch that replay and listen to the crowd when the meaningless three-pointer goes through. There's yells, there's groans. Guys, these games are going to turn into gambling, and that's it. I really am a big believer in that. It's the only reason that people were going crazy when that happened, because that line was right there. And whether you had it at 3.5, 4, or 4.5, all lines that were available throughout the day and the day before, it all came down to that right there, a meaningless three-pointer. It was incredible when you go back and watch it.
And how many times did he just throw the ball in and say that's it?
Yeah, but the reaction from the crowd tells you gambling's here, and it's here to stay, and it's bigger than it's ever been, because there was a definite reaction when that happened.
Yeah.
The roll-up was frustrating, wasn't it, Papa Dude?
Yes.
Because if they just inbound it to the guy standing right there, it's over. But since the guy decided to roll it, that's what
– doesn't Gonzaga just go up there and get the ball? I mean, they just stood there.
That's the problem.
I know.
This is, to me, this was one of the great examples of bankroll management and why it's important when you're betting. Because if you're betting between, let's say, 1 and 10% of your bankroll in each game, and 10% really should be the anomaly there, this doesn't hurt as bad. But just because of where it happened, there's a ton of people that had the majority of their gambling bankroll on this, or a good portion of it, and then it just really, really stings.
Well, I think the other thing is, too, we all thought it was going to be a lot more one-sided than that. Mm-hmm. So we were all breathing a sigh of relief because, they're going to go ahead and cover when it looked like for a long time they weren't. And then they blow it. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Just wild. Interesting question here from Jesse. Do you think gambling is starting to ruin the game experience? As someone who's gambled for years, I feel like it actually enhances it. But I don't know about if everyone else kind of feels the same way. Magic, we'll kick it off with you. How does gambling change your experience in watching these sporting events?
A lot of times it makes me care. Like I usually don't like keep caring it as the game goes on. Like, I'm busy with a kid right now and spending time with him and my wife on the weekend. So it's like I don't usually sit down and have time to watch the game. So if the gambling's there, I'm at least invested to keep checking my phone. And from an advertiser's perspective, like that's something that's why like the mobile apps and like all the little ads on those are so lucrative for them. I think that's where, like, from a business standpoint, that's why I think it's a good thing for them. And you can see why people are able to profit off of it.
Aaron, what do you think?
If you're gambling on your own team, a team you follow, a team you love, it ruins it. If you're not, it makes it so much better. I'm sitting here and watching all these hockey games all night. And, I don't have I only have allegiance to the Blues. I try not to bet them as much as possible, because then that does kind of mess with how you would normally watch a sports game. But it makes it so much better when it's two teams that you don't really care about.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, especially this tournament, because you have a massive number of people who do not bet on college basketball who fill out a bracket and then start betting on the tournament. So this one specifically is different, as well as the fact that all of these gyms have multiple games going on in the same day. So half the crowd is there for the game that they're watching. The other half is there because they were watching the other game. Gambling makes it a lot better for that other half because then it gives them some rooting interest in game at the stadium as well. Papa, what do you think about it?
Well, Aaron makes a good point, and this is the way I am too. Like tonight, I wanted to take the Lakers tonight as my best bet. It's I kind of looked at it and I thought, no, I'm a Thunder fan. I don't want to root for the Lakers tonight.
Yeah.
So I don't bet anything that involves a team that I'm rooting for. And that game involves the Thunder because the Thunder need the Lakers to lose. And I can't believe we're talking about the Thunder making the playoffs, but they've got a legitimate shot at it. And they're playing really, really well. So but I'm also with Magic. It makes me more interested in the games if I've got something on it. Like tonight, when we get to my best bet, I'll explain what I'm saying, because I would never have watched this game at all if I didn't have a bet on it. So I think it's good.
Yeah, Sylvain makes a great point too. Go watch a game at Circuit Casino in Vegas. The experience is absolutely crazy. That sports book is phenomenal. It's just massive stadium-style seating. They have the outdoor pool area. That Gonzaga TCU would have been an all-timer to be in Vegas for. Just the emotions going back and forth and how close that hit. Aaron brought it up. I mean, I got that game at Gonzaga -3.5 early in the day. So I'm screaming not to foul because then hit it 4. Don't even mess with this because we've seen so much shit happen. Yep. You're just like, oh, come on. It's never over till it's over. But yeah, Vegas, especially for these college basketball games, just a phenomenal experience because everyone's betting the exact same thing.
You know, I was talking to John White after this happened, and John White is a huge Gonzaga basketball fan and a huge bettor and has been for many, many years. And he was talking. He said the one thing about point spreads and what I've learned to do very seldom, I'll take points, but I don't lay points very often. I find other ways to get to maybe a price that I want to get to without having to just say, hey, I'm taking, Gonzaga -4. And he brought up, when he was a younger guy, the Lakers were so good. And he said, countless nights I would lose on the Lakers because I had to lay so many points. And he said, it's that experience that got me to go, okay, I'm not laying points very often. And if I do, it's pretty short. And so that is something when you saw what happened there, and it's like, here you have Gonzaga. They won the game clear like we thought they would, and you still didn't cash. It does kind of make you kind of rethink your strategy just a bit.
One thing I was told when I was living in Vegas, talking to a professional sports bettor at a poker table, when you have the underdog, you guys are aligned in the same goal. When you have the favorite, you are not, because the favorite doesn't need to cover your spread. The underdog needs to win the game. And so, playing dogs means that you're going to have the same goal as the team. You see it a lot in the NFL where you're laying 5, you're up 3, and you're running out the clock, even though you're in field goal range. And it's because they don't care if they cover. They care if they win. It's one of the advantages from playing dogs.
That's kind of what they're supposed to do. Care to win.
Right. That was John's point. He said, I want to be aligned with the goals of the team that I'm betting. Yeah. And when I'm at that number, they don't care, and I'm not aligned with that. He said, anytime you do that, you're taking a risk. And if you can find other ways to get around it, like, hey, I'll take Gonzaga on the money line and maybe I'll take somebody else. We'll parlay it. We'll try to get there. He's like, that's what I like to do. Or I buy points in a couple of situations, anything, just worried about, hey, my betting and my dollars aren't aligned with what this team is really trying to accomplish.
Yeah, this is Car Ramrod mentioning best experiences in Vegas, watching a Blues game there in a cabana, and everyone threw Jello shots into the lazy river. The best betting experience in Vegas I've ever been a part of was actually USA World Cup soccer games, because everyone in that book is rooting for the exact same side. And so just when the USA scores, everyone just goes absolutely apeshit. Just a phenomenal experience there, even if you're not a huge soccer fan as well. All right, let's jump into today's best bets, or actually not best bets. We'll start out with the little NBA action because we haven't talked about the NBA much here because college basketball has been dominating the show. And guess what? Probably will over this weekend as well. Let's kick it off with the Warriors, -2 heading into the Mavs. Total sitting at 234.5. The Warriors snap a 11-game road losing streak against Houston on the road. And now they go in to take on the Mavericks. Mavericks catching 2 in this spot. Still some injury concerns on the Mavs side. The Warriors trying to figure out what the heck's going on with the season. Magic, we'll start off with you. Give us some stats here.
I was looking at the same thing, trying to figure out if Doncic and Kyrie Irving right now, I keep refreshing to see if they're going to play. They're both both questionable at the best for this spot. Listen, I think in a case like this, you want to play the under. Actually, the Warriors' last 7 games following and against a spread win or a straight up win, they're 5-1-1. That's the under. So go with that one. This feels like a game where it's just kind of a mess for these teams with what's going on right now.
Yeah, Papa, dude, 2 pretty disappointing teams when it's all said and done here. The Warriors obviously win the title last year. The defense is a little bit on the ropes. It depends whether or not we're going to get Wiggins back and the health there in San Francisco. On the other side, the Mavs, this Kyrie thing, they haven't been able to get Luka and Kyrie on the floor consistently since they traded for him. Luka, I hear, is more questionable tonight than Kyrie. Kyrie probably will play. Luka will not. If that goes, kind of like Magic's under as well. What are you going to do here, Papa?
I totally agree with Magic. I like the under too. This is the thing with these NBA. You know, we're kind of forced to maybe to bet an NBA game today because there's not much out there. I never know who's going to play in these games. And Dallas without Luka, I don't think you can bet them. But we don't know whether they're going to play or not. So, and then the Warriors are on the road. Stay the hell away from it, folks.
Yeah, it's one of the tougher parts about the NBA is not knowing who's going to be in at, it's 9 a.m. Pacific time right now.
Yeah.
You don't know who's playing in a lot of these games, and the totals can move by 4 to 5 points depending on whether or not players play. I know I had a Mavs total and Luka ended up not playing, and the total moved by 4 points. You're like, all right, well, that kind of sucks. So I was on the right side of that. Aaron, what are you going to do with this one?
You guys are laying out why I keep it short with the NBA games, because I don't like betting games where I don't have a clue who's playing and who's not. And the injury reports really mean nothing. They're not accurate very often. So that being said, I'll keep it short. Mavs at home. I've told you guys all year long. Dallas at home. Take them and forget about it. Doesn't matter who's playing. Magic could be playing. Mavericks. Give me the Mavs.
Yeah, I've tended to find that the majority of my NBA bets this year have all been in-game. And essentially when I think a big favorite is playing terrible in the first quarter, and then I'll just bet them and you get close to pick them or get plus 1.5, whatever it is. That seems to be how I've decided to attack the NBA, because you also know who's playing at that point, which kind of matters. All right, let's go over to one other NBA game. This one's on the board because I almost made it my best bet. I like the Jazz laying the 4.5 here. The Trailblazers are in an absolute free fall right now. I'm just waiting for the fake injury that we're going to hear from Dame to shut him down so that they can try and get a top 3 pick. Jazz minus 4.5 at home for me here. Magic, what do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on the Jazz. I also like the over on this one. The Jazz over has been on fire lately. The Jazz last 8 games, the over is 7-0-1. But also, you're talking about Portland being very bad. They're 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games. 0-5 against a team like the Jazz that scored 100 more points in their previous game. Huge free fall for the Trailblazers. Jazz big.
Aaron?
Jazz big, and I agree with Magic. I like the over here in this game. Jazz overs have been really, really good, like Magic said. I think we go over again. So Jazz and over. I'm with him.
Papa Dude?
Well, let's go for 3 in a row. I'm for the Jazz too. They're at home. Huge game for them. They play very, very well at home. They're still in the playoff hunt. Huge game. Sylvain makes a good point down here in the chat. Upper and lower body injuries in hockey. Total bullshit for sure. That can mean so many things. And guess what? Playoff season's coming, and that's where we hear these injuries an awful lot in hockey. So I agree with you totally there, Sylvain. But I'm going the Jazz tonight to cover.
I like the gamesmanship in the NHL. They don't want to say where the guy's injured because there's an opponent with a stick on the other side that can put a good thwack in every now and then where it needs to hit. So they'd rather just not say where they're hurt. All right, one more NBA game. Papa Dude, you talked about this one. Suns, Lakers. Lakers catching a point at home. Total sitting at 229.5. No LeBron here. Suns still without Kevin Durant as well. That team is just not as good because of the depth they traded away when they got Kevin Durant. They need him in the lineup, don't they, Papa Dude?
Yeah, they do. And, they're sitting there and they made this big trade and everybody thought, okay, this is going to push him over the top, and they've just not been able to get him healthy enough to play very much. Ayton might be out tonight too. I read that a while ago because I was looking at this game. Huge game for the Lakers. They really need this one. They're playing better. If Ayton doesn't play, that really hurts Phoenix. So I like the Lakers to beat the Suns tonight in LA.
Yeah, the West is absolutely wide open. I mean, we've talked about 4 disappointing teams in 2 of these games.
Yeah.
And you have the Denver who's up there, but Denver's been playing awful recently. The Kings are sitting there at the 2 seed. They're the spunky up and comers, but you really think they can win the West? And then there's the Clippers who Kawhi all of a sudden just having an absolute resurgence. Can he carry them to the West? But do you really want to bet a team with Russell Westbrook? So a lot of questions in the West. We'll talk about that one next week once we get through college basketball this weekend. Aaron, for today, who do you like here, Suns or the Lakers?
Oh, this is a mess of a game. You're right. It's a total toss-up. That's obviously why the line is there at 1. Give me the over. I'm not going to take a side. Give me the over. I think these 2 teams will be able to score. Give me the over. If you made me pick, I'll take the Lakers, but I have no idea.
I'm kind of with Aaron here. If you made me pick, I'd take the Lakers, but I'm probably not betting a dime on this thing. Magic, where are you going?
Same. If you make me pick, I'll take the Lakers. The Suns are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. Lakers, they're trending towards the under. They're 9-1 in their last 10 home games, going under the total. They're 7-1 their last 8 home games versus a team with a losing road record like the Suns. So the trends say it's under and the Lakers here, but this is not going to be a fun game to bet.
All right, let's go into the best matchup of the day. Coyotes taking on the Oilers, minus 500 in Edmonton. Total sitting at 6.5. Yes, there's a reason this game's on the rundown. We'll get there in a second. One of them is there's only 2 games in the NHL tonight, so not a ton of choices there. The Connor McDavids need this game. They have to win this game, right? And they're minus 500, Aaron. There's no way they lose this game, right?
They shouldn't, but I mean, you just never know in the NHL. No, listen, the Oilers are going to win. They've been playing really good hockey. Their team has got a shot to get up there, that number 1. I mean, the way they're playing right now, they're really, really coming together. I really like what they did at the deadline. I think it's their time. So, yeah, give me the Oilers. I guess lay a goal and a half. I'll go over the total of 6.5, too. They should get there almost by themselves.
Minus 1.5, minus 180 right now. So not laying ridiculous amount of juice, but still a good amount for a minus 1.5 there. Papa Dude, what do you like here?
I would go over on this one because the Coyotes can put the puck in the net sometimes too. And by the way, they're playing better. Phoenix is. They played a lot better here in the second half of this, or since the All-Star break. Been kind of impressed with them. Oilers better be ready because the Coyotes can come in there and surprise you. I'll go over the 6.5. I think we're looking at a 5-3, 5-4 type game.
Magic.
Yeah, I'll say go the over as well. Arizona actually was in Winnipeg last night and lost a 2-1 game. So they're going to be playing, another road game, having to travel from Winnipeg to Edmonton. I don't know how far that is, but it's Canada, so probably really far, I'm guessing, across lots of frozen tundras and over a couple of polar bears to get to Edmonton. I think it's going to be Edmonton's at home. They're like, come on in. We're just ready. We got the fire going. We want to roast some coyote tonight.
Coyote roast. That's what you get from the show. We're going to have a geographic lesson here for you, Magic, at some point.
It's not that far.
It's really not that far at all. All right. My best bet of the day, and there's a reason we're doing this too. Give me the Avs. I'm going to lay a goal and a half against the Penguins tonight. Take them plus 150 at home. This is the other NHL game on the slate. The Avalanche have been absolutely rolling. We talked about them quite a bit 3 weeks ago. They immediately hit a skid right after we talked about them. They got out of that. They've won 6 straight now. 4 of those 6, they've covered the goal and a half. They're playing their best hockey of the season right now. I'll take the plus 150 number here versus taking them on the money line just to get the little extra juice. Colorado, one of the better teams when pulling their goalie. So again, if they're up 1 late, I like Colorado being able to get that empty net goal at least 50% of the time, which to me means that you're taking that minus 1.5 plus 150 in this spot. Why does this matter? Well, I almost went to the NHL salami as my best bet. The home teams, minus 3.5, minus 110 versus the away teams tonight. You get Edmonton and you get Colorado facing Arizona and Pittsburgh, both the better teams at home. If you like Colorado minus 1.5, this minus 3.5 isn't so bad, is it, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to play the home minus 3.5 today. I would take over the total there at 13.5 as well because Avalanche and Avalanche and Edmonton can both really score. So, yeah, I like it. I think that's a really good way to go about the NHL tonight, kind of in a fun way. You get involved with both games and you get a decent enough price without having, if you're going to bet Edmonton lay a crazy number. Your Colorado number, that's good, though. And I'm with you on that one. The Penguins have been pretty bad lately.
Papa, what do you think? You like laying the 3.5 here? You looking at the total?
It's hockey. I don't like anything about betting hockey. It screws me every time. I think that does make sense. I really like the Colorado bet tonight. I think they blitz Pittsburgh because both teams need it bad. but Colorado is in much better shape than Pittsburgh for sure, and they're at home. So I like your bet a lot.
Aaron mentioned that he thinks Edmonton gets the one. I think Colorado ends up with the one in the West. And if they do, they are still plus 275 to win the West. I think that's a phenomenally good price because they should not be 3-1 to win the West. Magic, what do you think of this NHL salami?
I'm with you on the home side here. By the way, I'm still figuring this out. Winnipeg to Edmonton is not that far. It is actually far. It's like if you were to go from Chicago to Denver. That's far enough.
On an airplane, 2 hours? No. They're not driving, Magic.
They're not hopping on the team bus, Papa Dude? You don't think so?
No, I think they're on a charter jet. I think they'll be in good shape, the pussies.
They fly in Canada.
It is the Coyotes. If anything got a chartered bus, it would be.
Well, the Coyotes might be traveling by foot. Now, Coyotes can cover a lot of ground, I've heard.
Good point.
Yeah, but they'll be cold when they get there and tired. That's a long ways for them to
Cold
go.
and tired.
All those little paws.
But Magic, we're not picking them. We're just saying they can handle a 2-hour flight.
I don't know. My dogs have been on 2-hour flights before. They did not handle it at all.
But it's a dog. We're not.
They're not actually coyotes.
The Coyotes are not actually coyotes, Magic.
All right, let's head over to Gulfstream.
Well, they're not
Park.
hockey players. I don't know what they are.
Let's head over to race. Most of them probably grew up in Canada too. They can get there. That's not a big issue. Anyway, race number 8, Gulfstream Park. Interesting little turf race here. We had 2 Saffies. Now we've got 2 scratches in the race, both the 1 and the 8 out here. This is the closer at $35,000. Optional claimers going a mile and 16th over the turf. We covered this one for the Magic Mike show, Magic, and this was wildly interesting to us. So many horses coming off maiden special weight wins. Only 2 horses coming out of allowance company, essentially back into allowance company. Everything else, maiden special weight, maiden claiming, made this race ultra difficult. The one we both liked out of the race. Who are you going with on top now, Magic?
You know, I did have the other Saffy here, the 9 horse that I was going to use, but the way that the scratches kind of affected things is the pace is a little different, and I think I've got to throw on the 10 Elusive Empire here as well. The 9 is the other Saffy, right? So you've got that angle last time out. He sat 4 lengths off of the early lead and then powered home to get the win. But he was breaking from the 10 post that day. Now he's going to be breaking from post 7. You got to remember he's moving 2 posts in. So post 7, a better setup for him. Hopefully sit a little closer to the pace than off 4 lengths there. But the fact that the other Saffy, which was my top pick, the 1 scratches out of here. That's interesting. The 10 with IRAD, there's no way we're getting 12-1. And we talked about this on the Magic Mike show. But for Jose D'Angelo to claim this horse out of a synthetic sprint and immediately we're going to go 2 turns. We're going to go on the turf. And by the way, we're getting IRAD Ortiz Jr. to ride, who's winning just ridiculous rate right now. You've got to use the 10. I just don't, Mike, what odds do we get on him? 4-1?
Man, I think you're probably sitting around 5-1, somewhere in that range. I think there are other betting options. I think the morning line is going to fluctuate quite a bit here. I went to the other Ortiz brother, and it's interesting. The speed is on the 2 Ortiz brothers, right? The 2 and the 10. And if that's the case, we've seen this in New York where one of them just sits off. I would expect it's the 10, but we'll see just because the inside post the 2 has. I put the 2 on top here. I think he's a real shot to go. Gate to wire in this spot. Cosmic Speculation off a gate to wire win going 7.5. Shouldn't have any issues stretching out. I like the fact that we get Jose Ortiz back aboard here to try and repeat off of that. Was 14-1 there, 6-1 today on the morning line. Probably going to get 7-2. So not as excited about the price, but I do think is able to wire this field. Aaron, where'd you go in this one?
The 1 scratching really screwed me up. I like the 1 quite a bit in here. And so that scratch kind of makes you get a little bit more creative than you would want to in here. I went with the number 3 People Force on top. I think this horse, while just the maiden win, like you talked about, has some races in the past performances where it was really competitive at the maiden special weight. I think that experience is going to help as he takes on winners for the first time today. So I went with number 3 People Force. I don't know that we'll get 8-1. I thought he put it together pretty nicely last time out when stretching out to this distance. I think he'll wheel right back here and have a good shot. So give me the 3 on top. Also like the 7. You talked about how a bunch of these were coming out of maiden special weights. This one did get experience against winners at this level last time. So give me the 3 and the 7.
Yeah, the 7 and the 5, the 2 horses coming out of the allowance company that kind of fit running back at the same level. The 5 is going to come from the absolute clouds, which I don't love here with the lack of speed. So I do think the 7 of those 2 horses is the one you want to be looking at. Papa Dude, where are you going in this spot?
Well, I'm trying to think of something that I can say that where I sound smart. That's hard for me to do.
But you're competing with
And I'm
someone who's
trying to find out. I've had this was a really tough race, really tough. The reason I don't like the 2, I look back at some of the races where he's gotten out in front and he's faded at the end at much shorter distances than this one. So I don't know if he can go a mile in 16th. There's been a couple of races he's been ahead, and he gets down to that last stretch and he goes from 1st to 5th. Throws me off of him. I like Aaron's picks too. I'm going to go with the 7. I like the 7 because of experience against winners. Last time out, he finished 3rd. Not bad. Won at this distance when he broke the maiden. I'm going to go the 7. I also like the 3 too because he won last time. He knows what it's all about to win. So I'm going to go 7, 3, and I'll throw the 2 in for 3rd.
One of my favorite angles of Gulfstream, been talking about it for a while. Horses on the synthetic who quit, going to the turf, who want the lead. That's exactly what this 2-horse was, Papa Dude. Those quitting efforts were all on the synthetic, where you cannot go gate to wire. It's almost impossible. 2 turns going gate to wire there. Now we're getting back on the turf. I think that's one of the reasons he was able to get the distance last time. Before we move on, Aaron, want to at least mention the 4-horse here. Back-to-back claims out of maiden claimer 35,000. Now protected for Terry Pompey. Any interest in the 4 with Castellano getting aboard?
No.
All right. I mean, was a $1.90 favorite against Papa Dude 7?
No. All right. Now listen, I did put the 4 and 4th. I think it, when the 1 scratch out of this race, I think it really kind of threw it into a little bit of a flux where anybody can win. Irad was aboard last time out. He's not back aboard here. I know the horse was claimed, but still, you see that sometimes a rider will ride through a claim. So I didn't think that was a great sign. The horse can win, though, but, not a lot of early speed. I don't think there's going to be a setup for the 4 to get it done.
I kind of like him, Mike. I kind of like him. It looks like he can close.
Thank you, Papa Dude. I appreciate that. He's improved the last 2 starts. I don't hate him here, especially after the scratches. I think I'll probably end up having him in the pick 5. All right, let's go to the best bets of the day. I'm taking the Avs -1.5, plus 150. I already talked about that one. So we'll jump over to Aaron's best bet. Happens to be our first baseball bet of the year. Tell us who you like in spring training.
That's right. We're going Orioles Blue Jays today. This game will start in about 35 minutes, so make sure to jump on this one early. Little spring training baseball. The Blue Jays have got their regular projected opening day lineup, we should say, in there today, so I think that's good. They're facing a pitcher that has a horrific ERA when facing them, so I think the Blue Jays are going to score today. Toronto, they've got Jose Barrios on the mound. He hasn't had a great spring. I don't know. I kind of think he's going to have some struggles today against this Oriole lineup. Remember, the Orioles were pretty good last year. So a little bit sketchy on who the Orioles are going to play today. That's the only worry, but I think the over is a good play today. Over 9.5, Orioles Blue Jays.
Dudes who bet Dilly does love anyone named Barrios as their first name. So Barrios Hector and Barrios Jose both trying to come through for the show here. All right, Magic, let's jump over to your best bet here. Taking the Knicks.
Yeah, I was surprised that they actually are that you can get them to pull an upset in Miami. To me, this is a big case where you've got the Knicks who are red hot, especially Julius Randle is absolutely on fire right now. And along with Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, they're combining for 70 points a game between those 3 guys. Miami Heat's barely averaging 109 points a game. And when you've got 3 guys for the Knicks who are putting up 70 themselves, and then they've got an offense that's putting together 116 points per game throughout the course of the season, I don't think Miami is strong enough on offense to keep up with them. And New York is very, very sharp when they can score at least 109 points, which is what Miami is averaging. They're 31-17 overall when they have to score at least 109 points. So I was surprised that they were the underdogs here. I'll take the Knicks to go in and spread to get the upset versus the Miami Heat.
Yeah, the addition of Hart been huge for them at the deadline. They really come together, started playing some good basketball. They are also 2-0 this season versus the Heat. So Magic, that's a good sign for you as well. All right, Papa Dude, take us to the game of the day.
You bet. Now, this is one of those games I would never watch if I didn't pick it. And I looked at the time. It's not that late. It's at 8 o'clock Central Time, so I can make it through this one. Cincinnati and Utah Valley. This is an NIT quarterfinal game. This might be the biggest game in Utah Valley history. I'm not sure. I didn't do a lot of research, but I don't think Utah Valley's been D1 very long. Again, maybe they had a different name. I don't know, but I don't remember. Do you guys remember them being around very long?
No.
Anyway,
No.
they've had a great year. They got beat in the conference tournament, but they've won 27 games. They're going up against the Cincinnati team that's won 23, so they're obviously decent, but they're not great. I feel like the building will be packed tonight. Going home team. It's a pick'em game. So I'm going Utah Valley to make it to the semifinals of the NIT tournament tonight.
Yeah, these are the last home games we have before we head to Madison Square Garden to have the semifinals and the finals. So remember both these NIT games at home. Papa Dude agreeing with Dr. Chang here, coming in with his best bet. Utah Valley. Then he's going to take the road team, UAB over Vanderbilt in the other semifinal. And he made the same point you did. Who watches this if there's no gambling? Don't disagree with either of you guys. Great example of how gambling can enhance the sports watching experience, especially if you're winning. That makes it a lot more fun. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Run through the best bets real quick and then sign off. Aaron taking spring training baseball, O's and the Blue Jays over 9.5. Papa Dude going with Utah Valley pick'em. I'm going to lay 1.5 with the Avs, getting plus 150. Magic taking the Knicks plus 110 as a dog. 8 and 9 last week, up $10, down $1.28 for the year. We got to have a big week, guys. That was really the differentiator last week. We put up a couple $1,000 weeks. It helps you spread out. Just got to get that one of those going. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back again tomorrow talking everything college basketball and jumping into the whole sports world as well as horse racing. Good luck today with all your bets. We will see y'all tomorrow.